You're all very welcome to our little chat on Ledger semi-final night. Gus, we will start with you. Can you give us your best Ledger memory?
It's probably an easy thing to do. 1974, the 19th of October. Lively Band won the Ledger. But why it is so close in my memory is that I got married on that particular day. And we decided that we wouldn't go on our honeymoon, myself and my late wife, until that final was over. And we attended it on the night, and it was a fantastic night, and we went on our honeymoon the day after. And it's ironic, actually, when I looked at the card this year, Lively Band was the last dog to win the Derby and the Ledger. So maybe we might have another one this year.
Well, I'll always have fond memories of the Ledgers when I was a young lad in the late 70s, early 80s, some brilliant nights up at the old Marcus Field. But I suppose in modern times the one that stands out would be 2004, Never Give Up. Local dog, local owner, local trainer, brilliant night again at the Marcus Field. And he turned out to be a great Ledger winner because he won a brilliant Champion Stakes afterwards, and I think we'll never forget the Champion Stakes the same year. So he'd be one, I'd say, of recent years that I'd remember.
I've had a lot of great nights, Ledger nights in Limerick. Great dogs ran there. You know, it is really and truly, I suppose, it was classed that time as the best classic over a throw run distance 550. And my favourite, and nothing will come second to him, is Orange Jack. It was a brilliant, unbelievable Ledger in Limerick. The place was on fire. The excitement there every night, coming down from Galway, down from Moore, Grealish's dog, and a great dog, Genuine, went on again to prove himself a stud. And I always remember, he's definitely my favourite, and I bought a lot of his progeny afterwards, and you know, I mean, he was really and truly one of the greats.
My favourite Ledger memory happened in 1966 when Move Along Santa, Willie Barry's dog, won the Ledger. And the excitement it created in our parish, in our locality. And I remember asking my mother, there was excitement in the kitchen and hooing and han, and I said, "Ma'am, what's happening?" She said, "The lads are here." She said, with the cup, and they were drinking whiskey out of mugs. Well, the sense of achievement and that was in that kitchen that night was unbelievable. And that dog went through a great beach called Octum, and her offspring spanned 2 continents. So that's my everlasting memory of the Ledger.
I suppose the biggest Ledger memory for me has to be parading Westmeath Bowl for Fraser Black in the final 2 years ago. The very first Ledger that was here. Like, 'twas a privilege to be involved with such a big profile stake that's known throughout the country, and you're talking Ireland and England over. Like that was my biggest. And another one that I can remember back to as a young fella was, I heard a good bit about Barefoot Marty when I was younger, and it's good to see that the Connections have another runner again tonight, next week in Priceless Sky, so you'd never know, maybe the double could be on the cards.
After seeing the trap draw, what way do you think the final will go?
Now that we have seen the final, I think it makes for a very, very interesting night ahead of us, because just at the top of my head, when I heard that Priceless Sky was drawn at top 1, well, automatically I said that makes him favourite, because he's probably as good a bin runner as I've ever seen around any track. It's amazing how quickly he took to this, and I said, even though trap 1 isn't a great box in a 550, I feel it'll suit him where he is drawn, because he runs the bin well. But then when I heard who was drawn in trap 2 and 3, they were probably second and third favourites. I would originally have said that Skywalker Puma would have been favourite. He might still be favourite out of trap 3, but Kingo is inside him, and he came down very, very well the last night, and he might hold up the trap 3 dog. I think the 1 dog will lead down, and it's going to be difficult for the 4, 5 and 6 dogs. The car, Yuma, he's a good finisher, but I don't think he has the legs up and down, and the other 2 are inside runners, and they're drawn at 5 and 6, and I'd say now it is next to impossible to win out of trap 6. And the Tibetan Sky Dog, while he ran great at the thing, I would think that there'll have to be trouble in it for any of those to win it. I would go for Priceless Sky to win, probably from either Kingo or the Derby winner. I'd love to see the Derby winner win it, because it hasn't been done since 1974, but my head says Trap One will win.
Well, like I say from the onset, it's a great final, and congratulations to all who made the final, and compliments to the Limerick staff for getting such a great field, because in memory I can't remember us. We had an Oaks winner, a Derby winner, a 600 champion from Shelburne Park come out this year, and I think it was a great field for the whole Ledger. And I think along similar lines to Gus, I think Priceless might not be the best draw in Trap One, but he has the early, he has the sectionals every night. He's been doing it. He's even done it from out wider, and I think if he can get the bend in front, he'll be a very, very hard dog to peg back. I think the draw's been a bit unkind to Betting Skies out in 5, and Tommy Bolton's dog in 6, you know. But it's going to be a fascinating final. Like if Skywalker Puma, I'm sure Matt and Francis will have him right on the night, and if he can possibly hit it, it'll be some final. But my vote would go with Priceless Sky.
Well, from the outset, Skywalker was my favourite, and he hasn't definitely left down the Limerick support here, and it was a great honour for to get him, and that Matt has to be congratulated for bringing the dog here after his Derby win. But you know, he's drawn 3 ideally again. I think he's drawn well, and whereas Prices will be there, he will be probably favourite. I still going to stick with my original Fantasy Skywalker. It has the makings of a fantastic final. I'd say probably the best final that we've had here in a long time. And as Gussie said early on there, with the possibly maybe a bit of trouble with the three dogs inside, you could have a surprise as well, and finals can turn up there. So I go for Skywalker.
Again, what everyone else is a fabulous Ledger, and great to see the crowds here. Again, I suppose Priceless is the dog. He's the talking dog in Trap One. The Puma, he took a rattler tonight at the first minute. It takes a brave dog to do what he did. He drove it and he went on. I wouldn't rule him out, but Owen McKenna has a habit of winning these things, and he's in 5. Not a great draw, but it's going to be a tight call between the 3 of them. If the one dog misses it, it's going to be one of those from one of those 3, and I'd give Kim McKenna a chance.
Well, personally, I think it's going to be very hard to call, because it's going to be one of the most wide open finals that there is in this country this year to date. Like, Priceless Sky is drawn very right inside. Kingo couldn't look for a better draw. Like, Skywalker Puma in 3 is spot on. Cashin Mafuma, I think, could be the dark horse in it. Could really come from nowhere to win this. Like, Tibetan Skies will be led to the bend, so it'll make no difference to him. He'll fly down the back. And Head for Fame is the only dog that's really drawn wrong, but in a final, anything could happen. Like, I'd still have my money on Skywalker Puma, and a surprise with Cashin Mafuma with maybe Priceless Sky. That's my opinion, but look, final is a final and anything could happen.
Finally, what is the most important thing for the greyhound industry in 2013?
I think the most important thing to happen in 2013, I would request that Bornagon would take more notice of the greyhound owner, who is, after all, the principal stakeholder in this industry. People can see that if something isn't radically done soon, we won't have an industry. People are voting with their feet and they're getting out of the game. At the end of the day, I have a card in my pocket here from 1974. The winner of the Ledger got £2,000 in 1974. If you were to equate that, what it is now, I mean, okay, you might say that the winners of the classics are getting enough of money. Prize money has to be risen for graded races. It costs as much to keep the bad dog as the good dog. Shelburne are crying out. They haven't got enough of dogs to keep racing and going above and Dublin. There's a big problem, and it needs to be rectified. Now, I mean, we speak about loads of things such as integrity. There's many things to be sorted out. But I think if, in actual fact, if they took an awful lot more of the Greyhound Owners Association, and thankfully we have in Limerick anyhow a very strong organisation, and I would urge everyone else to become involved in the Greyhound Owners Association. I have nothing against supporters clubs, but they do not represent the greyhound owner. If I have a complaint to make in any place where there isn't an organisation for the owners, I can't lodge it with anyone. I'm all in favour of Supporters Club. I would consider that the Greyhound owners are probably the greatest supporters club that we have. We like to support the individual. I am very, very much afraid of what's going to happen in the future if it's not rectified.
I think 2013 is going to be a very important year for the greyhound industry as a whole. I think one of the talking points of the last week was an interview done by Michael Fortune with Dolores Root last week, in which probably a trainer at the pinnacle of her career at the minute in Ireland talking about immigrating. And when you look at the races she's won over the last couple of years and derbies and what have you, right? Can you imagine how hard it is for greyhound breeders, owners, trainers way down the rungs with their dogs, how hard it is to make a living? We have to look at similar to what's happened in Shelbourne Park this year with the SIS coming on board. And we have to find a way to sell our product and to make the money from the product for the owner breeders in the country. We have to protect prize money, increase prize money, because it's not a viable business at the minute, and it's going to be a very, very important year, 2013.
Well, 2013 will, I think will prove a very good year for greyhound racing. Greyhound racing has really risen in stature due to, I suppose, number one, very fast dogs, good publicity nationally, and even come back here to our ledger. Huge, great sport and competition, quality racing. We in Limerick here are lucky. Like we have most modern track in the world, and it is up to ourselves when we have started here with the different. A word that's being used a lot now are stakeholders. But the stakeholders have to come on board, and the staff that run the greyhound industry that are paid to run it, they have to come on board as well and realise that there's a serious cost factor involved in breeding dogs, and it has been already mentioned here that we all can't have derby winners. We have graded dogs, and they cost a lot of money, and they have to be respected and they have to be supported in every way possible. That it is crucial. We're lucky in Limerick, we have a very strong GOBA, and I think that the other tracks around the country should take a leaf out of our book. We are now have control of our own destiny here in Limerick, and I think that the other tracks should form the same type of an organisation as we have here. We're only starting at it, but already we can see the dividends. The challenges are great, but I think that we can achieve and we can progress. We can't be negative, and we have got to. But the people that have to do that are really and truly to be driven by the owners of the people. We have to look after our owners and our breeders and make sure that they have a future in the industry, because the industry can't operate without them. And this is something that has been really and truly, I'd say, it has been missed out by the powers that be. And that is something that we've got to keep reminding them, and we will here in Limerick, we'll keep doing that.
2013 for the Irish Greyhound Board, the Irish Greyhound industry is very challenging. The future of our industry at the moment is being controlled by an organisation that I don't think is flexible enough to carry us through to the next stage. We need to start thinking outside the box. We possibly need to go public and make the Irish Greyhound industry a public company where people can buy in and all parties can come to the table and drive it forward. As one of my colleagues here, John, mentioned about Dolores Root, talking about leaving our shores and going to Australia, I would congratulate her if she takes on that. And she's right, because Australia, about 15 or 16 years ago, saw the way forward. They took control of their own industry, and now they're world leaders in what they do. And if we don't follow that lead, well, I think we'll smother and die. So that's my view for our industry going forward.
For the industry going forward, now I know we're looking for the most important, but there's two key issues that I would rate on a par. And number one would have to be the going surface, and number two would have to be youth. And these are two key issues that Board and Nagan are really going to have to work on for 2013. Like, when you look at the first issue of going surfaces, we need to provide a surface that's consistent 24/7 every time of the year, no matter what the weather. Now, I did a lot of this early on in the year, and we got a machine in from England called the Going Stick from Turf Tracks. And, like, in my opinion, this machine, used properly, can bring back racing and grass. And it can rule out all the issues with sand that everyone is giving out. Oh, an injury in sand, you get it every day. Like, this, in my opinion, can revolutionise the racing as we know it. Like, it's a welfare issue, and if we can provide a safe, sound surface, you're reducing injury, reducing costs in general, and hopefully we can try and do something with the Going Stick and make it a success and provide a sound surface for the dogs. And then the second issue with the younger people, like, we need younger people to keep it going. Like, I'm not out of the grassroots, and we need hundreds more like us to keep it going, keep everything going. Like, greyhound racing is all about the youth, bringing youth in, getting the enthusiasm and powering on. Like, that's the only way forward, I see. So hopefully in 2013, with good welfare and good youth working on it, 2013 will be a success. Fingers crossed.